thanks to
Hello and welcome to 5 at 5. We are here at the golf fort right now. We just came here to look whether the pitch was open or not, and luckily we got a view of the pitch on my match day -3. The curators are still working on the pitch, and we'll give you a detailed update on what the golf pitch is looking like on match day -3. I'm joined by Shavik Chakravarti and Vaibhav Tripathi from right here in golf, and Devashish Da will also join us very soon. Sri Lanka announced their squad today as well. We saw Gautam Gambhir, Sitanshu Kotak, Sarfaraz, the support staff coming here at the stadium to just take a quick look of the pitch, and they were wearing their casual attires. Maybe they were here to have a cup of coffee, and they just thought to why not come to the stadium and take a look at the goal wicket, and you can see the visuals here also. Gautam Gambhir and the coaching staff arriving earlier this afternoon to take a look at the wicket here at the Gaul Stadium, and of course it was a surprising visit. Thankfully, Devashish and Vaibhav were present here at the stadium. They could take these visuals, which are exclusive. There you won't find these visuals anywhere. But I'll straight away go to Vaibhav, and if we can give a bit of a lowdown as to what happened when Gambhir and his other coaches came here at the stadium to take a look at the pitch.
you rightly said that it was a luck by chance meet. We were there to cover the Sri Lanka practice, but then we got to know that media is not allowed to cover Sri Lanka's practice for obvious reasons, because by that time, the squad was not announced. Although they have been training here since August 8th, but because the squad was not announced, that's why media was not allowed. Not just the Indian media, not just the foreign media, but the local media was also not allowed. But we wanted to have a look at the pitch and who are the players training for Lanka, because at that time Sri Lanka squad was not announced. So we went there and we were having a look at the pitch and the players who have turned up for Sri Lanka in the practice session, and then the moment he zoomed in, he said, "Bravo, Gautam Gambhir," and we were like, "Oh, Gautam Gambhir," and then we were like, "Yes, this guy looks like Gautam Gambhir." And then Devashish Da, he captured Gautam Gambhir, and not just Gautam Gambhir, Sitanshu Kotak was also there, as you can see in our visuals, which we have shared in our socials as well. Yes, we didn't see Sairaj Bartule by then, but when they were leaving the stadium, then we spotted that okay, Sairaj Bartule is also there, India's spin bowling coach. As you said, they must be going somewhere, but by chance they came in just to have a look at the pitch. And Gautam Gambhir was wearing his glasses. Then he took his glasses off and then just had a closer look at the pitch. He talked to the pitch curators as well, and then he went off. So this was it, and yes, the visuals are exclusive. We were lucky enough to be there.
And it was bullseye from Devashi.
Bullseye from Devashish, and we were like, this is if that is Gautam Gambhir. I was like, next to him is definitely Sitanshu Kotak, because we have covered him. We have been seeing all these pitches for a long time now. So, it was very evident from that. But welcome to both of you to call. We have been in here in Sri Lanka, and now because the test series starts in 2 days' time, the coverage will only get better from here, because now we are a team of four.
Yeah, I mean, had you guys stayed in for another month, I'm pretty sure Sri Lankan government would have given you permanent visa for the country. You guys have been here for a while and have done fantastic job. Before I go to Shamikda, Devashishda, what did you observe? You also had a look at the pitch. You were there in the stadium earlier this afternoon. So, what are your observations so far as it comes to this particular stadium?
Shubhana, let me just tell you, means the BCC, the Sri Lankan cricket logistics manager with the three Indian coaching staff. So it was not just a stroll around. They
Hmm.
were specifically here to observe the wicket. And Gautam Gambhir's obsession with the wicket, you and me very well know, Somita know, who have covered Indian cricket closely for the last 1 decade. So it was not just a stroll, means since there was the local liaison of security officer with them as well. So the BCCI, they came in the BCCI, the van dedicated to them. All three of them, they turned up along with the security liaison officer. They spent the time for a considerable duration. They had a look at the wicket, spoke to the curator here. They even chatted with a few of the Sri Lankan batters. In fact, shook hands with one of the batters who was going to have his turn in the nets, and then later on spent a few more time before they actually left. Upali, the Sri Lankan logistics manager, who was previously has been associated with the Indian team. Whenever Indian team turned up on overseas bilateral tour, Upali used to be the Indian logistics manager. He represented from the Sri Lankan cricket board, and this time round he is with the Sri Lankan team, not with the Indian team. So and he was there. Gautam Gambhir interacted with him before leaving, and obviously, clearly, you could make out that clearly the Indian support staff, with the Indian coach, has come around to have a look as to what would be in offer for the first Test match, which starts on August 15th. Shubham.
Absolutely, and again, it shows the commitment from the coaching staff as well on a day off, where when players are perhaps having a relaxed day, the coaching staff took some time off from their off day as well to come here at the stadium and have a look at the pitch so that they can prepare well for the next couple of days in regards to practice as well as to how to prepare for the game, and of course how to prepare for the match as well. Shamit, what are your observations of the pitch? Although yes, there's a bit of a typical hue and cry around goal wicket being spinner friendly from day one. You might see spinners operating from both the ends, and here are the exclusive pictures of the goal wicket as well. Your initial observation of the pitch, whatever you have seen so far.
Shubhan, before going to the pitch, we must tell our viewers that this Gall Cricket International Cricket Stadium is one of the most picturesque cricket venues in the world. I think only three cricket venues can give it a fight. One is obviously Cape Town, Dharamshala, and Queenstown in New Zealand. It is absolutely picturesque. The stadium, the venue, and we are at the golf fort, and everything looks resplendent. The only spoil sport is our hair. It's a bad hair day, you can see, because of the steep breeze. So it is a bad hair day. Coming to the pitch, Shubhan, coming to a conclusion or making any assessment of the 20. We are so far out, about 150 years out, maybe, and on the golf course, it would be fraught with risk. But by the look of it, it looks brownish, and maybe, just maybe, I don't know. I'm sticking my neck out. If it stays like that, it feels like, once again, I might be wrong, and I'm sticking my neck out. It feels like it was watered this morning, but I have my doubts
Prakash, you
whether.
can enlarge Devashish Das frame so that you can see what Shamikda was telling, how picturesque this venue is.
The fact is that uh, from a distance it looks like this pitch was watered. This pitch was watered this morning. Once again, I might be wrong. I'm sticking my neck out, but it looks like, by the look of it, by the color of it. But I have my doubt, Shuman, whether they would be watering it tomorrow and day after in the lead up to the game, because if it is a batting friendly pitch, it is clearly advantage India, and Shubman Gill might alone might roll over Sri Lanka. The form he is in and the quality of batsmanship he has, Shubman Gill might just roll over Sri Lanka. So I think, and for Sri Lanka also, they are sixth in the WTC rankings with an outside chance to qualify for the final, and they would play to their strength. So interesting. Let's see how the color changes tomorrow.
Absolutely, and it is pretty hot and humid here in Gaul. I won't lie. It's a bit of a change in landscape as well. Colombo was different sort of weather. Gaul is different sort of weather. Although there's steady breeze all over the place. If you stand particularly here at a higher ceiling here at the Gaul Fort, but at the same time with breeze coming from both the ends, the Pacers recently have also found a bit of success here at the Gaul Stadium. We'll talk about the Sri Lankan side as well. Pretty interesting squad they have picked, and they have finally announced the squad this afternoon. Before During their training session, Weber is having a chuckle while I talk about their squad, because it is something which we have been discussing, that Sri Lankan team have reached ball, but They are yet to announce the squad, but finally they have got all the clearance to announce the squad, and we saw the squad being announced today, this afternoon. Vaibhav, if you have to take key takeaways from that Sri Lankan squad, of course, sports left arm threats are here, but a steady. This is an injury plagued side, I would say, batting wise. But your overall assessment of the Sri Lankan team.
Because Shubhendra, I'll say that again. It was our break that Roshan Dikwela, Keshara Novanta,
And
all these players,
great job, yeah.
yeah. So all these players which we have named yesterday, I have filed a copy as well on the same on Sri Lanka's likely squad.
Also, tell our viewers how many lefties they have in their batting
They
lineup.
they have Kamindu Mendy is the left-handed batter. Sonal Dinusha is the left-handed batter. And Niroshan Dikwela. These are three left-handed batters that they have. Apart from Dhananjay De Silva, Dinesh Chandimal, Lairu, Dara, and
Which perhaps nullifies the chances of Saraj Jain making his debut here.
top five, it's all right-handed heavy. And anyways, Manav Sudhar has bowled a lot. And if you go by what happened in the practice match, 3-day practice match, how many overs Saranj bowled, then you will get a fair idea that Akib Nabi and Saranjan both of them who have played the last match here in Gaul for India are not looking in the plans of India team management for the first test at least. But now coming to Sri Lanka squad, the takeaways, Kushal Mendis, Pathum Nissanka not being there, obviously two of their first choice players, two of their most in-form and senior batters are not there, is a big blow for Sri Lanka. Then Keshara Novanta, the uncapped off spinner who has earned his maiden collar. Why? Because he dismissed Shubman Gill, who was looking in imperious form in that practice game. He dismissed Shubman Gill, then he dismissed KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant as well. So three important wickets.
Special favor in that dismissal.
He can deceive the batters in the air. That is what we have seen. In Keshara Novanta. Otherwise, you have a Ramesh Mendis who has taken a lot of wickets at this venue. But why Keshara Novanta? Because he brings something different, which our Indian team has not faced him. Indian team has only faced him during the 3-day practice game, and that's what it makes him different. Keshara Novanta, Niroshan Dikwela coming back is a surprise. But one takeaway is they have brought back Dilshan Madhushanka. Madhushanka has last played in 2023, same like Niroshan Dikwela. To bring back a left armer when you already have a Vishwa Fernando who's been a part of the test squad since a long time. He was there in the 2017 series as well. So if you have a Vishwa Fernando, why you have to bring another left arm Dilshan Madhushka when you have already announced the squad for just one test? So I think they are planning. It's just that if you look at this squad, it's a bowling heavy squad. They have three right arm pacers, Asita Fernando, Lahiru Kumara, Milan Ratnayake, the bowling all-rounder. There are two left arm spinners. One is obviously Prabhat Jayasuriya, other is Sonal Dinusha, who's more of a batting all-rounder. And then you have two off spinners in Ramesh Mendis, Keshara Novanta, and then two part-timers in Dhananjay De Silva and Kamindu Mendis. So it's a bowling heavy team. If you look at their batting options, they are light on their batting obvious because of the injuries to Pathum Nissanka and Kushal Mendis. It's a depleted squad and another injury-prone squad. Lairu Kumara is injury-prone, and then you have somebody like Vishwa Fernando. Dilshan Madhushanka is very injury-prone. So if India wants to win the first test, I think this is the best team. They can go up and take the win.
That was a pretty thorough assessment of the Sri Lanka squad, and of course the top five, especially of the Sri Lankan batting unit, brings Ravindra Jadeja particularly into the picture. In 2017, when Indian team first time ever clean swept Sri Lanka in Test cricket history, it was Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja doing most of the damage. Ashwin, if I'm not wrong, was the top wicket taker in that series, but Ravindra Jadeja was not far behind. And now with Ashwin retired from international cricket, Shamikta, the focus will be on Ravindra Jadeja, whether he can do the maximum damage with the ball. Of course, Kuldeep Yadav is also there. You have a brilliant Manav Sutar who was mighty impressive against Afghanistan in his debut test match. But Ravindra Jadeja has to take that mantle forward and take the experience or the spin leadership forward from here on. And what better venue than this Gaul surface to go out there and do the damage with the ball.
Shubhan, to start with Ravindra Jadeja, I'm coming back to the tour game. And Ravindra Jadeja came into the tour game after a longish layoff. After the IPL, he didn't play any competitive cricket. He was rested for the one-off test against Afghanistan in June, and he was nursing a tennis elbow. And coming back from there and straight away hitting the ground running, it shows. I mean, we don't have to. I mean, Ravindra Jadeja doesn't need our certificate. He is one of India's greatest ever all-rounders. Now, Ravindra Jadeja is in the squad means he walks into the playing 11. But but if obviously I don't think India, if India play two fast bowlers, the they will have to take a call whether the second fast bowler would be Gurnur Brar or Prasidh Krishna number one, and even and an even trickier call is to play because three left-arm spinners, albeit Kuldeep Yadav is a different variety as a Chinaman bowler. It has never happened in the history of Indian cricket. Three left-arm spinner in a playing 11. From that point of view, Vaibhav and Devashish covered the tour game and they told us that Manav Sutar was very, very impressive. And he had a fantastic test debut against Afghanistan in June. But then again, would you drop Kuldeep? Would you drop Kuldeep once again? Will not that be a harsh? Because the thought process of the Indian team of yore, that Indian team who ruled Test cricket number one in the ICC ranking for 5 Test years. What do you have said? I'm giving you one example that is from batting. Karun Nair scored a triple hundred in Ajinkya Rahane's absence. But when Ajinkya Rahane came back, Karun Nair had to make way for Ajinkya Rahane, and Kohli told us, he was the captain, Virat Kohli told us at a press conference, that we cannot ignore what someone has done over the years. Just to ignore and play someone on the basis of one game. So will you play Manav Sudar just on the basis of one game against Afghanistan, or you will or you will trust quality? And that is Kuldeep Yadav. That is a tricky call. These are the two tricky calls because
But
if you
three spinners, but three spinners will definitely play.
yeah, then and as Vaibhav said, three left arm, and this is precisely why they have picked Sarfaraz Jain, considering the fact they will have at least 2 to 3 left-handers in their batting lineup. So when you have picked Sarfaraz Jain, then you have an option to offer something different, an off spinner. So that is one thing because these are the two tricky calls. And if you talk batting is so far the batting lineup picks itself. But again, we have to keep an eye on whether Sarfaraz Khan or Dhruv Jurel at number 6 or 7.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the main two questions. I'm pretty sure. I think uh, the the spin bowling department looks pretty much sorted. I don't think Saranjan, and that's my personal opinion. I'm not seeing Saranjan making his debut in this particular game. Maybe I think someone doesn't do really well. Weber, he has muted his mic. So I'm not seeing Saranjan making his debut, particularly in this match. And of course, things can change as the team management wants. But I I feel that Kuldeep Yadav, Ravindra Jadeja, and Manav Sutar will be the spinner. The only two major questions as far as the Indian playing 11 is concerned is Gurnur Brar versus Prasidh Krishna, Dhruv Jurel versus Sarfaraz Khan. Devashita joins us. He's having some issues with his internet. Devashita, you were there in that practice game. Gurnur versus Prasidh is a debate which everyone is having right now. What would be your pick on the basis of what you saw in that warm-up game?
Shubhan, if you ask me, obviously the conditions in Colombo were pretty flat. But despite that, Gunnar Brar had some purchase from the wicket. But that doesn't go on to establish that he will be in the playing 11. Obviously, the team did not train here in Gaul. So tomorrow we will have a clearer picture. The Indian team will have a before they actually they played a test match. But as what we have assessed, gauging by the practice match, I think Gurnur Brar has whether he goes on to make share the new ball, we'll have to find out. But my gut feeling is that Gurnur Brar, which is high, might just get some purchase from this wicket, and also he looked very impressive in that practice game. Shubham.
Vaibhav, your thoughts on Gurnur versus Prasidh battle?
Yeah, this is the first practice session that took place in NCC. that he was hitting the bat high on the bat, and he was the one who actually hurt Shubman Gill during the practice session when he copped up the first blow on the thumb. And even during the practice game, Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, obviously they bowled well, especially Siraj. He didn't pick as many wickets, but it was Gurnur Brar who was making more out of the service. He looks like that X factor who can make a lifeless pitch feel like something that we can get wickets on this wicket as well. And he was bowling full tilt with full intensity. You can
take the pitch out of the equation.
He can definitely. He's that kind of a bowler who can take the pitch out of the equation. And the last visit that he had at Galle, he took 10 wickets. But again, when it comes to the team management, and if you see Prasidh Krishna in last 2 games, he has taken 11 wickets in Test cricket. And if you look at Prasidh Krishna is obviously is somebody whom team management trust a lot. That's why he's a 3 format player for the team management. But going by whatever we have seen at the NCC, those 3 practice sessions, those 3 day of match day practice against Sri Lanka 11, I think it should be Gurnur Brar. And as you rightly said, we have been saying this since the first day itself, that it won't be a surprise that if the team management opts for a 3 left-arm spin bowling option. Obviously, Ravindra Jadeja is a definite one, but Manav Sutar is one who can challenge both right-handers and left-handers equally well. Devdutt Padikkal, who scored that 100 in that practice game, was struggling against the left-arm Manav Sutar. That's how good he has been, and with his batting as well. And this team management likes the player who can do both batting and bowling, the utility players. And then you have a Kuldeep Yadav. Kuldeep Yadav doesn't need wicket offering something to him to create a damage. I think Kuldeep will be there, and Sairaj Bhatule after that match made a very important point that team management was pleased with the way Kuldeep bowled in the first innings. Obviously, he didn't bowl in the second innings, but he bowled the most number of overs in the first innings. So I think the team management is happy with Kuldeep's progress. They are happy to have Ravindra Jadeja and Manav Sutar both.
Was he giving the ball a pace?
Yeah, definitely. Even during the practice session, he was making batters like Shubman Gill, KL Rahul beat on multiple occasions. So Kuldeep Yadav's form looks pretty impressive at the moment. Whatever we have seen at the NCC in Colombo, and team management are also happy with Kuldeep Yadav. So should be Kuldeep Yadav, Manav Sutar and Ravindra Jadeja, as we have been saying since many days. And now it comes down to Prasidh versus Gurnur. I think even Dhruv Jurel looks sorted to me. I think yesterday in the last practice session that India had at the NCC, Dhruv Jurel had a lengthy discussion with head coach Gautam Gambhir. It was Sarfaraz Khan who came at the last in the center wicket practice sessions. It was Dhruv Jurel and Srishapan having a long batting practice. And you have to keep that in mind that Sarfaraz, although he's a very good player of spin, he's coming as a replacement player. First choice is Dhruv Jurel. So I think although he hasn't performed in the practice game, team management will still stick with Dhruv Jurel.
Shubhan, if I may stick in with my, if I may chip in with my 2 pence regarding this Dhruv Jurel versus Sarfaraz Khan debate. Now see, we know something which is called horses for courses, and obviously, maybe just maybe over those couple of practice sessions, 2-3 practice sessions, and when that news came that Sai Sudarshan was ruled out of the series, maybe the team management was a bit iffy about their middle order batting against spin, and we didn't fare well against South Africa on home patch. So that is precisely the reason why they didn't choose a like for like as Sai Sudarshan's replacement. So it is about bolstering middle order option, which is Sarfaraz Khan. But once again, there is a catch. If you straight away, because you have to keep in mind Dhruv Jurel is part of the original squad, original 15. So if you straight away drop him and pick Sarfaraz Khan in the first test, that would be a downright dismissal of Dhruv Jurel's ability, and which might be affecting his confidence. So it's a very, very tricky call. And we, over the next 2 days, tomorrow and the day after practice sessions, the Rep Sports Squadron will keep an eye on that.
Ref Sports Quarter, that was pretty interesting. But again, Dhruv Jurel, I think would be under some pressure with Sarfaraz Khan, a player of Sarfaraz Khan's caliber being in the squad, because among he has played, I guess, 10 test matches so far, but I can recall only two innings of note from Dhruv Jurel. One was in Ranchi against England, scored 90 odd, and one century against West Indies, which was a high quality knock. But if you see his last couple of series, it has been pretty ordinary, especially the shots he played against South Africa. That was something which even I can, if I have to give you some inside details, and it frustrated the Indian coaching staff a lot as well. And if shots like that keep on coming, especially here at Gaul, uh, then I don't know how long a rope will Dhruv Jurel get with Sarfaraz Khan now back in the squad, and some news update also. Washington Sundar is also unlikely to be part of this Test series anymore. So with Saransh Jain there, the team management, the BCCI Center of Excellence, they are in no mood to rush any sort of
And
injuries.
Shubhan, we have written it. We have already
Yes.
written about this, that he has a
Yes.
race against time to be fit for the second test also.
Absolutely. We wrote about Sai Sudarshan. We have written about Washington Sundar in the past as well. But Shamikta, before we wrap this session up, India Sri Lanka Test series, I don't recall so much focus being on a India Sri Lanka bilateral Test series. Uh, what
Absolutely.
would
I
you
mean,
say? Is it?
absolutely, Shubhan. I mean, if you look at the record, India haven't lost a test series here since 2008, and that was that Chanda Mendes
Last
series.
three series they have won. Last three series they have won. 2017 was a clean sweep under Virat Kohli's captaincy.
Exactly, exactly. But it is about India's flagging fortunes in red ball cricket, because two home test series whitewashes against New Zealand and South Africa within a span of less than 2 years. That, I mean, we know it is about transition and all that, but I always will go by what Cheteshwar Pujara said, that in home tests, in home series, there is no transition. Then again, this is a very, very good opportunity for the Indian team to bounce back. If they don't, if they fail, then we will have to say Indian, as far as red ball cricket is concerned, Indian team has sort of hit a nadir.
Yeah, I mean, India need at least 7 to 8 wins out of nine to have a short chances of going to the WTC final. The last WTC cycle was a disappointment for the Indian team, but this time around they are in a tricky situation. It's not very rosy for the Indian team as far as their WTC Test qualification chances look like. Two Test matches in Sri Lanka, two in New Zealand, and five against Australia at home. It is a tough road ahead for the Indian team. But again, if they can go on to win this series 2-0, then it can kickstart that self belief within this team. This is a good test side. This is a test side in transition, but with good talented players, and a 2-0 clean sweep against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka can kickstart that belief that we can go and do the same in New Zealand, which will again be a very very tough series, a challenging series for the Indian team. But again, we have shown you the visuals of the pitch. We have shown you the exclusive visuals of Gautam Gambhir and his support staff visiting the ground here to have a look at the pitch. Vaibhav and Debashida have already given you exclusive updates on the Sri Lankan squad now that it is finally announced. From tomorrow onwards, you will see both the teams hitting the Gaul International Stadium to finally fine tune their last final stages of their preparation before the first test here in this picturesque venue. So stay tuned to Rep Sports. We'll continue to give you all the coverage. Tomorrow, Indian team trains from 10 a.m. onwards. And it will be followed by a press conference and then followed by the Sri Lankan team's practice. So we'll give you all the updates. Stay tuned and keep following. Like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for all the updates regarding this test series and from news from all over the sporting world. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.